Hello and welcome back to Take a Knee with Mike and JD. I'm JD,
And I'm Mike.
and we are just under 2 hours away from the 2023 NFL Draft, and we're here to talk about, what we think is going to happen tonight. I think it's a big draft for a lot of franchises, especially I think for our two franchises who are kind of sort of in flux right now. We're sort of half rebuilding, half trying to compete now. So I think there's a lot of things that will happen tonight based off of who Houston picks at number two. I think the consensus pick is that Bryce Wilson's going to go number one to Carolina.
Mm.
But if Houston
Bryce Young.
right, what?
Bryce Young?
Yeah, Bryce Young.
You said Bryce Wilson. You kind of mixed Tyree Wilson and
Did
Bryce
I?
together to make like a super a
No,
super edge slash quarterback.
that would be crazy. Yeah, Bryce Young.
It would be cool. I'm not against it.
if he goes number one, and then Houston picks Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, or or Tyree, that will then throw everything off because then you have Indianapolis that's looking for a quarterback that then might take C.J. Stroud, who they've been linked to Will Levis or another one of these tackles. So it really all shakes down to what Houston wants to do. And apparently, recently, Houston isn't keen on going after C.J. Stroud right now. They think that they'll take the best player available and wait for a quarterback next year and just run with Mills right now. But what do you think's shaping up tonight?
Yeah, and look, I would do with Houston because Houston need a lot, and I would just be picking best player available. I mean, in my mock, I've had them taking Tyree Wilson, and I'm really interested in how the quarterbacks fall because kind of all the tips were top 10 most they 4 or 5 10, but I think a lot of falling now. Like the one thing, Robin, like in my mock, I put CJ Stroud going at 3 because we don't do trades because it's too hard to pick. I think he'll be going, but I don't think he'll be going to the Cardinals. I think the one sure thing is the Cardinals trade back.
They should. I think that'd be smart for the Cardinals to do. They're not, like you said, they're not going to draft a quarterback there. There's probably a team. You look at what happened with Chicago and San Francisco a few years ago, where they really wanted Mitch Trubisky, and they traded up that one spot with San Francisco and gave them a bunch of picks. I think there's a team out there. Could it be Vegas? Or could it be even Indianapolis? Like if Indianapolis fears that now that Houston didn't take a quarterback, are they going to then go up and try to get somebody at 3? So it'd be interesting to see, but it would make a lot of sense for Arizona to trade down, maybe like 5, 6, or 7. They probably should take a tackle, but I think that would be smart for them to trade down. They're one of the teams that should trade down. I think Arizona and probably Seattle could benefit from trading down, just because Seattle has that number 5 pick. They could probably get a lot more and still draft a pretty good player.
Yeah, I think we'll see trades in this first round. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it should have a lot of movement. I mean, the Steelers have been linked to trading up. I mean, right now the Steelers have 17 and 32. They have the first pick in the second round, and then they also have their own second round pick. So they could package those and move up. They really like Paris Johnson, who will probably go within the top 10 and will not be around. But if they don't trade up, I have a feeling they're going to take one of the cornerbacks. So I don't necessarily want it to be Joey Porter Jr., but it's a very Steelers thing to not necessarily go after the right guy, but to do what they want to do. And I feel like they want to bring in Joey Porter Jr., even though it all depends on if Christian Gonzalez is there and Deontay Banks is there. But even if they are, I just have a feeling they're going to take Joey Porter Jr. It just seems like what the Steelers do.
And I mocked him to the Steelers. I don't think Deontay Banks will be there. have him going the pick to Washington. But I agree. I think that where they go. Guess what? Well, out of out of the whole draft, what are you away with in terms of position? And the is where if they make your do.
So as far as the Steelers, I think that I would want them to take an offensive lineman or the best cornerback available. What would be crazy to me is if they were to draft a wide receiver in the first round. So, Jordan Addison could be there. He could see Jordan Addison is a wild card because I actually have him mocked to Green Bay at 13 because I just think that it would be very funny for as soon as they, the same week they trade Aaron Rodgers to finally draft a skill position in the first round.
It would be the funniest thing that happened. And we'll talk more. Like we'll do a recording next week to the whole Aaron Rodgers Jets thing because it's a crazy off season. But yeah, could you imagine like days after he's no. They're moving up to 13 to take a wide receiver. It'd be. I think Aaron might have himself 4 or 5 fingers if that happens.
Yeah, I would find that funny. I mean, I could see that because if you want Jordan Love to succeed, you got Watson last year, and if Smith and Jigba's there, they probably take him. Jordan Addison they might take Zay Flowers, they might take Quentin Johnson. I feel like if they want to have Jordan Love succeed, they have to give him more targets. And they spent the first 2 picks last year. They had 2 first-round picks last year. They went defense. I think you need to go offense. I think you need to give your young. I mean, he's been in the league 3 years now. He hasn't started, but you need to give your young guy, I think, targets to go out and be successful.
I totally agree. Like, I think what we should be with high picks are receivers, receivers or tight ends to catch the ball. And I don't know if big dogs come in, you need that kind of blocking. But we need to a few tight ends from the cupboard is fairly now with Robert Tonyan going. So, but then 13. I think they're pretty high on him, which either I think you can get him second with one of their or at least trade back up to. But yeah, with that 13, and I've heard suggestions that they might only see them trading back at 13, all of their guys that, they have gone. I mean, I to trade back and get into his life, trade back up, but I think you do that trade unless you intend on making that pick there, because if we're going to trade back close to as much with the fifth, when you're talking about deal, if the Jets are saying, hey, we'll get up 13, unless you're taking a play, mate, that means fuck all. Give us some more seconds and your thirds and that kind of taking a play there. And I could see that if Jackson's still on the board, I could see them. I mean, like I say, just the tree there would just be something else. Or if Peter Skronsky, who probably would, but I think if he somehow falls to 13, he's a pretty Packers player. Actually mocked to them. Is Ness. I just think he is a player, and although it's another
defense guy, again,
I can see the doing that, And I mean, to be, out of for that first round pick, I wouldn't be like Lucas Van Ness, even though I would prefer player, but I'm being pretty Packers draft, and they don't usually take offensive. They do need to surround Jordan Love with weapons, because they need a chance to succeed. Because they're obviously a year option. Need to know in this next year or two, is he the guy? And if he can do that is if he's got targets. I think Christian Watson. I just think I was going in the first round and that, but I think Gutekunst's on the board there. I mean, Watson looks great, and he just looks better. I'm really big on. I think pairing him with Dobbs. I think you've just got to get all pass catches around there. It could be pretty good for. I am the think I've ever been for a Packers first round pick.
Yeah, I
just don't pick a fucking quarterback.
Right? Could you imagine they like pick Anthony Richardson or something like that? I honestly, I think I would be happy with nearly anything, because I think, well, besides like a running back, like if we pick Bijan Robinson, like that would be insane, obviously. But like we need an offensive lineman, we need another wide receiver, we need a cornerback, we need safety, we need a linebacker. Cam Hayward is getting up there. They did just draft LaMarvin Leal last year, but I don't think there is a necessarily bad pick they could make. It's just that, it just feels like, watching the Steelers my whole life, it just feels like if Joey Porter Jr. is there and all the tackles are gone, I just feel like they're going to take them. They like bloodlines, they like stories, and I feel like, they know Joey Porter, they know Joey Porter Jr. well enough that I think that they'll take it. The thing is I like Joey Porter Jr. Just, he's like 6'2", he's a big cornerback. What the Steelers had done the last 5 years, they kept drafting 5'10", 5'11" cornerbacks. They just weren't very big. And obviously Mike Hilton was one of the best nickel quarterbacks in the game, and he got paid for Cincinnati. He was small. We had Ike Taylor for 10 years who was tall and lanky and shut people down. I want another tall cornerback. So if we get Christian Gonzalez or Joey Porter, Banks, sure, that too. I think I'll be happy. Basically anything besides a running back. And if they trade up, it all depends on what they give up. I'll be okay with. If they give up their first this year, which is 17, and then maybe their second to move up a couple picks, I think it'd be fine. I think I would dislike if they gave up their first and both their seconds this year to move up, because I think they still need to pick in the second round. I think they still need a high pick to also, there's supposed to be a lot of linebackers back there that they could pick in the second round. So I'm pretty optimistic. Last year we weren't sure who they were going to pick. Would it be Kenny Pickett? Would it be Malik Willis, who didn't go for 3 rounds? At the time, I wanted them to go for Tyler Linderbaum, who was still there when the Steelers picked, and was a little disappointed when they picked Kenny Pickett, even though I like Kenny Pickett. But this time around, I don't really have a guy I want them to pick, so I think I'll be pretty happy with whoever they go after.
Yeah, I'm much the same. There's not like a lot of guys I like. There's probably 8 guys, 13, and I'd be really happy with. They haven't picked it in a while, so you can, I guess, is my
right.
Don't go, picking a long snapper there. That if one of these falls there, take them, because I don't think it's a really deep class. I think there's some hidden gems you can get in the stuff that come off, but it's drafts we've had in recent years where you're picking guys in the second, where on other years that kind of thing. So if if a really high tackle like a Peter Skronsels, or if you do Marcus Van Ness, fine, even though it's not an offensive player, Just don't go fucking quarterbacks and any of that. Do something. And, like a few tight ends. And if you absolutely tight end, okay, take him at 13. But I think a really good tight end class is a great one, either by trade later rounds of the first or just wait the second. Like, they've had, Washington for a visit, and from Packers reporters and that they're really high on him. So just been content to the bald fools and either get him with their first pick in the second, move up if they have to, if they feel like to grab him. But yeah, I just hope when we get to 13, I'm very zen about I'm fully prepared to get to 13. A lot of the, JSN and on the board, and then they run up the pick, and you go, who?
Right.
I'm fully prepared for that. Yeah, but I've so yeah, not long now.
Yeah, not long. We just have another hour, so yeah, I'm pretty excited for tonight. So it starts in an hour. We'll have our reactions recorded, so we might throw them up on here. But let us know. I mean, this probably will go up right around the time the draft starts. So if you're listening to it, let us know how your team did, or just the draft in general. But thanks for checking out. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, like the video, and thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.